Hello and welcome back to the Weighted Native Chronicles. Have you heard the news? On May 30th of 2025, the Alberta government made a change to the hunting regulations that now permits .22 caliber centerfire cartridges to be used for big game hunting. This has the hunting community a little bit perplexed, and some people not too happy about it, others not so bothered. So I'd like to go into that today's video. The .22 caliber change is not for rimfire, it's only for the centerfire cartridges, and it appears from my research that the former restriction of .22 caliber came into effect in 1981. So we've had this restriction in place for quite a while. And to be fair, it made sense at the time in 1981 when it was passed, but I think what we should consider in today's video is whether or not that regulation remained fair, because things have really changed over time from 1981 till now. Everything from bullet construction to weight retention to terminal performance has changed over the years by quite a bit. So today, we're going to take a close look at what's really changed since 1981 in terms of the how modern .22 caliber centerfires now hold their own better. And as a bonus, we're also going to delve into a topic that I think some of you might be surprised to learn that we will see right at the end of this video, and it has to do with politics. So let's just say this may be a little bit more than just a hunting regulation change. So let's begin with just a little bit of context. Back in 1981, .22 caliber centerfire rounds like the .223 Remington, the .22-250, and the .220 Swift were considered varmint rounds, and rightly so. Most bullets back then were quite light, 40 to 55 grains, with thin jackets and soft cores. They were designed to explode on impact, ideal for small game and predators, and something that's also pretty good for reducing the likelihood of ricochets. But on deer or bear, well, they lack the mass, the structure, and the energy to ensure a quick and ethical kill. Fast forward to today, and we're in a whole different world. We now have bonded core bullets that keep their jackets and cores fused together. Even after hitting heavy bone, we have monolithic all-copper bullets like the Barnes TTSX and Hornady CX that retain nearly 100% of their weight and expand with deadly consistency. These aren't your old-school varmint loads. We're also talking heavier projectiles, 60 to 80 grains, with higher ballistic coefficients and retained energy at ethical hunting distances. Cartridges like the .223 Remington, the .22 Nosler, the .224 Valkyrie are now pushing these bullets at speeds and stability levels that make them accurate, legal, and most importantly, reliable. And while I don't personally own a .22 caliber centerfire rifle, I've spent a lot of time in the field using the .243 Winchester, which fires bullets at just a slightly larger diameter. Using my own hand-loaded 87 grain bullets, I've successfully and ethically harvested many moose over the years with that. With the right bullet and shot placement, even a small caliber rifle can do the job in the hands of someone aware of its limits. And that's exactly what modern .22 centerfire ballistics are now proving on game animals. Now let's be clear though, just because it's legal doesn't always mean it's the best tool for the job. Centerfire rifles in .22 caliber still demand precision. It isn't a brush-busting moose gun, it's a caliber that depends on good judgment, clear shooting lanes, and ethical range limits, ideally under 300 yards. You're aiming for the heart-lung zone, broadside, not quartering shots, not through thick bush. But with the right bullet and the right shot, it works. So having covered that, aware of the improvements in the construction of bullets, Let's get into where it starts to get kind of interesting from a political standpoint. If you've been following the national conversation around firearms, as a Canadian, I'm sure you have, you've probably heard the federal government's rationale for banning so-called assault-style rifles. Hey, what are those rifles commonly chambered in? .22 caliber, right? Like the AR-15, which is typically chambered in .223 or 5.56 NATO. The federal argument is that these rifles, they have no legitimate use, that they're not suitable for big game or for traditional hunting at all. So when you buy these rifles, what the heck are you up to? Because obviously they're no good for anything but shooting at people. But now here comes Alberta, poking a hole in that bubble of the federal government has created with something quietly powerful. By legalizing .22 caliber centerfire cartridges for big game, it's a little bit like the provinces saying, hey, actually these rifles do have legitimate uses, not just for varmints or predators, but for ethical, effective big game hunting. What? You mean they're not just useful for nefarious purposes? Well, whether intentional or not, that move by the Alberta government challenges a central claim behind Ottawa's push to ban these firearms, don't you think? And that's why I said earlier there might be more going on here than just a regulation update. Could very well be a subtle but well-timed pushback, reframing these calibers and platforms as practical, ethical, and fully valid hunting tools. It's a narrative shift, and one worth paying attention to. So in conclusion, before decrying this recent regulatory change, let's keep in mind that bullet technology really has come a long way since 1981. Bullets back then were not very well made compared to how they are now. So what used to be the lower limit of .243 back then, it's quite arguable that you could bring that down to .22 caliber now with a change in bullet construction. And Alberta's new regulation simply reflects that reality. At the same time, this change might be signaling something a little bit deeper. That provinces like Alberta are willing to push back when the federal line doesn't match what's happening on the ground and in the field. If you found this useful, informative, or even thought-provoking, consider subscribing to the Way to Native Chronicles, sharing and clicking like on this video, and let me know what you think in the comments. Until next time, keep on practicing to shoot accurately and shoot within your limits, especially with these lighter cartridges. Did you like this video? If you did, I think you're going to like this one right over here. So check it out. And I appreciate your subscribing if you haven't done so already. Remember to do that while you're watching this next video. Click like, it all helps us out for this channel. Catch you next time.